Good morning, Pucci people. As it is now August, we are approaching the end of summer, and we are approaching the end of summer that many people will go on to remember as Pucci-girl summer, whether some of us like that or not. And so I thought this morning that while I get ready, we could talk a little bit about the history of Pucci, especially the life of Emilio Pucci, because he was a very interesting figure, and I recently did a lot of reading about him in preparation for a Substack article that I just wrote. It's also a shameless plug of my Substack. If you do not already subscribe and you're interested in my thoughts, I'm starting to put them there. So for those of you who do not know, Emilio Pucci was born in 1914 in Naples, but he actually grew up in Florence. Now, when I say he was from Florence, I mean that he actually hails from an aristocratic Florentine family that goes back centuries. You know, you can look back to a time when Sandro Botticelli in 1483 was commissioned to paint a series of 4 paintings for the marriage of a distant relative of his. That's the kind of nobility or aristocracy we're talking about. Now, as a young boy, Pucci was actually a very talented skier, which may seem irrelevant, but this is actually really related to how he got into design. In fact, he was so talented that when he was 17 years old, in 1932, he was actually invited to be a part of the Italian national Olympic ski team. He went to Lake Placid, New York. He did not compete, but I think that is a testament, obviously, to his skill. For the Olympics, he finds his way to Milan, where he studies for a few years, and then he decides to leave. He goes to the University of Georgia, where he studies agriculture, stays for a very short time, then leaves and finds himself not only without a school to be kind of moored to, but also without any money because his family back in Europe can no longer send him money because Italy is at war with Ethiopia. And in general, it's kind of the few years before World War II, so there's just a lot of political unrest. Poor Emilio Pucci. So what does he do? He goes on a ski trip to Oregon, and on his way back, he stops at Reed College. Now, if you don't know Reed College is a culturally kind of left-leaning, or like progressive school in Oregon. He sits down with the president of Reed and says, you know, I would really like to go to school here. I've heard this is a great school. And the president looks at him and says, you know what, if you will start the school ski team, we will give you a scholarship to stay here. And so he does. What is more, he also designs their uniforms. Crucial. What does he do after that? Obviously, is the beginning of World War II, and he, like many men, is swept up into the war. He actually is a bomber. Now, after World War II, he gets back into design and he starts again designing ski wear. And really, the reason that Pucci is launched into any sort of kind of early success is because Tony Frizzell sees a woman wearing one of his ski suit designs on the slopes, loves it, takes some photos, brings them back to Harper's Bazaar. Editor there, I believe it was Diana Vreeland, sees him and is like, I want you to design a line for next season. I want to do a winter spread. He does it in 1948. They're photographed, printed in Harper's Bazaar, and everyone goes crazy. Okay guys, I had to run out to get my nails done, but come back for part 2 for the rest of the story because there is more to share.